Build a life worth living. 360 success. 360 success.
Hey, everybody. Welcome back to 360 Success Podcast. I'm your host, Ryan Knight. This is the show that helps you build a life worth living in your faith, family, fitness, and finances. Today's message is simple, but powerful. Don't quit early. Play until the whistle blows. Let me take you back to 2013, the Iron Bowl. It was Alabama versus Auburn. It was tied 28-28 with 1 second left. Alabama's attempting a 57-yard field goal to win the game. They kick the ball and it falls short. But Auburn's Chris Davis fields it in the back of the end zone and runs back 109 yards all the way for a touchdown. Game over. Alabama quit with 1 second left and Auburn played through the final whistle. That moment is a permanent reminder. It's not over until it's over. And if you quit early, you don't just lose progress, you might lose everything. Let's talk about what happens when we stop short. Let's say you cut your workout 10 minutes early and you cheat yourself of the burn, the gain, the breakthrough. Or you check out mentally from your job before lunch or before 5 p.m. when there's still maybe 15, 20 minutes left on the clock, but you're still clocked in. You're not just stealing time, you're dulling your own edge. Look, you don't stop nurturing your marriage just because it's quote unquote stable. That's how good becomes average. And then average becomes distant, and then distant becomes done. Here's the truth. Most people don't fail at the beginning. They fail at the end. Let me say that again. Most people don't fail at the beginning. They fail at the end. They start strong, but they don't finish. And in high performance living, finishing is everything. Share a personal story. Years ago, maybe 10 years ago, I was training for a 5K and I'd get up to where, I would run 6 miles. I'm not a marathon runner, never been anything like that, but I had a 6-mile run scheduled one day and I started strong, felt great, and I crushed it about the first 2.5 miles, which those of you that are like marathon runners are probably laughing at this right now, but I got a little cocky. And so I pushed it a little too hard. My legs were burning. My pace started to slow down at about, like I said, mile 2.5, maybe 3. But, my goal was 6 that day. And I told myself, I just rationalized it. I'm like, that's enough. That's still more than most people do, right? But then came race day. Now, I live in North Texas, so this was like in the spring, and we'd had cool weather up until this point. We wake up that morning to get ready for the race, and it is the most humid day that we had all year. And when I mean like 90+% humidity, and it was probably 85, 90 degrees. So it was like trying to breathe through a wet mask. So we start, and I'm feeling good, except I'm short on air. It feels like I can't get my breath regulated. And I hit mile 2, and my body remembered that's where I quit the last time, mile 2, 2.5. And I had literally trained, I guess, to stop early. Now I finished the race, but barely. I didn't stop. I ran the entire way. But truth is, there were some people that were speed walking that still beat me. Okay. They would jog and then walk and then jog and then walk. But I'll never forget that moment, because that day I learned you don't rise to the level of your goals. You fall to the level of your habits. If you make a habit of cutting off early, quitting early, you develop a memory and you will start to make that a habit. Let's destroy a myth real quick. Coasting is not neutral. So I know in a car, you can put it in neutral and you can kind of coast, but in life, coasting is sliding backwards. When you stop pushing, you're not pausing, you're regressing. In your business, when you stop tracking numbers or KPIs, they start to tank. In your marriage, when you stop dating your spouse, intimacy fades. In your health, when you skip just 1 week, suddenly it's 3. Coasting is the enemy of progress. And what's worse, it feels deceptively safe for a while. But the cost to regain momentum that you may have had, it's massive. It compounds. In business, you might launch strong. If you're a doctor, new patients may roll in, team morale is high. Then you stop leading. You stop leading in daily huddles. You stop casting the vision for your team. And you think, I earned this little breather. Anybody ever do that? Like, I've earned this. I deserve this. That's a big thing we like to tell ourselves. But then your business or your clinic starts to slip, not because you did something wrong, but because you stopped doing what was right. Momentum isn't maintained by memory, it's maintained by movement. As a leader, if you want your team to finish strong, you have to model it. I like to call it leading from the front. You've got to set the tone. Fighter pilots and Navy SEALs are trained with one absolute: you finish the mission or people die. There's no almost, there's no good enough. Every rep, every minute, every move matters. If a SEAL checks out mentally 30 seconds early, his team pays the price. If a pilot miscalculates during landing by 1 degree, it can be catastrophic. That's how we need to approach our mission in business, marriage, fitness, and faith. Because your family and your clients, if you're a doctor, your patients, and your legacy are counting on you to finish. This isn't about what you do. This is about who you are becoming. Every time you finish strong, you reinforce the belief: I'm the kind of person who finishes. You can say that to yourself. I'm the kind of person who finishes what I start. You know people like that. Maybe you're a person like that. But those are the people that you can count on. Every time you quit early, you reinforce the opposite. Let me say that again. If you're the kind of person who finishes or wants to be, say this: I'm the kind of person that finishes. But every time you quit early, you reinforce the opposite. So ask yourself, what kind of leader do you want to be? What kind of spouse do you want to be? What kind of parent do you want to be? What kind of example do you want to set? You're not playing for the scoreboard. You're playing for your standard. I want you to reflect today and ask yourself, where have you let off the gas? Where have you convinced yourself that almost was good enough? What would it look like to go all the way in every time? Not perfect, not without rest, but with full commitment until the job is done. Work until the end of the day, love until the end of the argument, train until the clock hits 0, lead until the vision is fulfilled, believe until breakthrough comes, play until the whistle blows. Thanks for tuning in to 360 Success Coaching, where we build lives worth living in faith, family, fitness, and finances. If this stirred something in you today, share it, rate it, and recommit yourself to finishing strong. And if you're not done, good. Neither are we. We'll see you next time.
Build a life worth living. 360 success. 360 success.